This is actually how you become a go-to expert with your very first business. That means more people see you as the expert, they come to you, they want to pay you more money as well. Now, in this video, I want to actually give you some tactical, like first business strategy and advice. A lot of what I talk about is the mindset and getting over those fears, but I think it's important as well to balance that with the technical side of things as well. And I want to give you this advice here because it will help you with your first business. It will help you make money. Now, the common perception is when people start a business, naturally, they want to try and help everybody. You ask them, okay, who are you helping? Well, I'll help anybody. I'll help anybody who needs a hand, anybody who's got a problem, I'll help solve them. I'll help them solve it. The challenge with that and that mindset of always wanting to just take on any client, anyone who's willing to say yes and give you their 16 digits or their credit card number. The thing about that is the well-known expression is if you try and be everything to everybody, you'll end up being nothing to nobody. What does that actually mean? What that means is when you go out into the marketplace and you make yourself so broad and so generalized, people don't feel when they see you or when they speak to you, they don't feel that you can actually help them, that you can actually serve them. So in that instance, they don't buy from you. The people who are in that situation, who are trying to help everybody, they don't make any money because everybody just walks away from them and they're not interested. I want you to actually make money with your first business. That's the key, because that's going to be the thing that helps you get out of a job. Now, how do you do that? Well, you have to specialize into something called a niche. So let me give you an example here. If you try and go into a big ocean, like a big general broad marketplace, this is known as a big ocean, and you try and go toe to toe with some of the big industry leaders, you're going to have a hard time. Why is that? Because those industry leaders have already got the market dominance. They already have the market share. So all you're left to deal with is the scraps that come through, and you're fighting with every other small fish in that big ocean. You're fighting for the scraps. So your sales become sporadic. You only hit sales every now and again. You might get a person every now and again, and that client or that customer ends up being a problem for you. They end up being a challenge, being a difficult client. What you need to do is get yourself out of that big ocean and move yourself into a smaller ocean, a smaller marketplace, and act as the big fish. And when you move into that small ocean, when you move into that smaller marketplace, that's called a niche, or in America, they call it a niche, right? That's your niche though. And a niche is just a specialized corner of the marketplace where you help and you serve people. And I call this your niche nirvana, because when you can find this, you find your own niche nirvana. It's a place, there's a lot of peace, there's a lot of happiness. Why? Because people are coming to you. Things are more effortless. Things are more simple as well. They flow better because you're operating in this niche. You're being a big fish in that small ocean. So you automatically, by the marketplace and by default, in that small ocean, you are perceived as the expert. You're seen as the go-to expert that people want to go to. If I give you a couple of real world examples, let's look at somebody who's a fitness trainer. Many people, they've got the skill, they've been to the gym, they've got the knowledge, and they want to help people with their health, their fitness, either putting on muscle or losing weight. What I see the common mistake is a lot of these fitness trainers just set up and call themselves fitness trainers. How many fitness trainers do you know out there? There are thousands and thousands and thousands. You are immediately competing with all the other fitness trainers out there. And you've got to compete with people who have the market dominance, people like Joe Wicks, right? He's become a big TV brand and personality. You've got to compete with people like him. But by stepping down into a more specific niche, you could become a fitness trainer for mums who have just given birth. So postnatal, you're helping them lose weight. Suddenly you are in a much smaller corner of the market. you are becoming an expert. If there was a mum who had just given birth and she wanted to lose weight, she wanted to get back into the gym, who is she naturally going to go to? Is she going to go to the person who just calls themselves a fitness trainer? Or is she going to go to the fitness trainer that helps mums who have just given birth? It's an obvious choice. She's going to go to option B because to her she perceives that person as the expert. She feels that that person can help her more than just somebody who's a fitness trainer. The fitness trainer helps mums postnatal and lose weight. They probably have the same skills. They probably have the same knowledge. You know, they talk about cutting calories, exercising. They have the same skills and abilities, but one puts themselves in a higher tier because they've niched down. Here's another example. This is one of my favorite ones that I've ever seen in a niche. So I spoke to somebody and they were a cleaner, and you think, wow, okay, everybody, how many cleaners are there out there? Again, like a fitness trainer, thousands of them. And I spoke to her and she shared what she did. And okay, she was a cleaner, but her specialty and what she niched down into was she cleaned chandeliers in hotels in London, right? And I'd never heard, there was a first time, and to be honest, it's the last time. I haven't heard anything more to date. That is the most specialized thing that I've heard, is somebody cleaning chandeliers in London and in the hotels. Think how easier her life becomes, because it's so easy. All she has to do in her marketing is reach out to hotels, find the management agencies, and start contacting them. And she said she got a constant supply of work, because when these people needed the chandelier cleaning in the hotels, and think all the crystal and the glass, they would call her because they knew that she could help with their problem. They knew that this lady could help them clean those chandeliers, and nobody else could because she had specialized. So she had dominated that corner of the market. It's a small ocean. It's a small corner of the market, but she was the go-to expert. I think maybe you're really good with ads. Maybe in your work, you've been doing some marketing and you decide to set up your own ads agency. Again, there are so many ads agencies out there, small ones, big ones, there are so many. And so where can you fit in there? If you're setting up an ad agency, you could just focus on brick and mortar, local high street businesses. Perhaps that becomes your niche. Or maybe you focus on trades, people who are electricians or people who are plumbers or carpenters. And that could be your focus. Instead of just being an ad agency, you could be an ad agency that helps tradesmen with electrician businesses or carpentry businesses. You are becoming instantaneously the go-to expert. You are going to be able to earn more money, and you have to be tactical like this. You have to be strategic like this, because Coca-Cola go for the masses. They go for the volume. Why? Because they have an ad budget of billions of dollars. You do not have that kind of ad budget. And if you do have that kind of ad budget, you should not be watching this video. So if you've got that ad budget, great, go for mass market. But I know 99.9% of people do not have that kind of money to spend on ads. So you have to be tactical. You have to be strategic. You have to be more pinpoint and focused in who you're marketing to and who you're focused on helping. Because otherwise, like I said, if you're trying to serve everyone, you're trying to help them with all their problems, there are a lot of people on this planet with a lot of problems, and you're just going to make yourself too broad, too generalized. And because you're perceived as that expert, it means for the work that you do, you can charge more money because you're positioning yourself in that as that expert. So this is why you need to narrow down into a niche. You need to be strategic in your marketing and really zone on that corner, that specialist corner of the market. You don't want to just be a GP, a general practitioner. You want to be the brain surgeon. You want to be somebody who's a specialist in this instant, because you can get paid more money. Now, as you grow in business, you dominate that corner of the market. Guess what? As you grow, you make more money. You can expand. You can move into other markets. You can start serving other people. This is a common route that people go. But it all starts by you narrowing on that niche, becoming specialized. So I hope that helps in that video. Let me know in the comments, what is your niche? Have a think about it. Type in the comments.